Okay, hello everybody. My name is Dolce Jeans, and today I'm going to be reviewing the new J.W. Anderson Spring 2025 show, Real Sleep. Now, a few disclaimers. This is my niece. She's bothering me right now. Please don't pay her no mind. And if you notice this bump on my face, no, you don't. But this collection was great, and I wanted to review it because I just love J.W. Anderson's work, and I think it would be really good to talk about it. I want to talk about it personally. So if you want to see more fashion content, please like and subscribe. I have a lot more videos on my channel at this point, and I will be making a lot more in the future. Without further ado, let's get into it. Before we talk about the collection, let's talk about J.W. Anderson a little, okay? J.W. Anderson is actually one of the most successful designers ever. He graduated from London College in 2007 and started his brand in 2008. He mainly designs genderless clothing and has a lot of reoccurring themes in his design, like regular components of clothes like buttons, ties being supersized, or objects in general on his clothing just being supersized. Like, I don't remember what collection it was, but he had this really big pin going through one of the clothes. I think it was like three collections ago. I'll put it on the screen for sure though. He's also very experimental with the manipulation of fabrics and shapes and sizes and volumes of clothes. We will see that in this collection though. His design is often sculptural, more presenting itself as designed objects than designed clothes. This design language is also present in his work at Loewe. He's also the creative director at Spanish fashion house Loewe. His work is often conceptually driven. He could often be inspired by an artist or a philosophical idea or like a piece of art. J.W. Anderson, in my opinion, is one of the best designers alive, and he is a textbook example of how to properly execute an idea into clothes and to actualize ideas and bring them into reality. He's the main reason why Loewe is such a popular and successful brand today, because he really brought that brand back to life. Now for the collection. The collection was actually a resort and menswear collection combined. Luke Leach of Vogue said it best when he said that it was like a Phil Rogue, I think that's the term he used, a Phil Rogue type of thinking where none of the clothes really had that much of a common line of thinking. They were all kind of sporadic in terms of like the reference points. I will get into that in just a second. The show notes, which are very important, begin by showing the reader going through a hypnotherapy session, and as you fall into a deeper state of sleep, you distort shapes and colors and volumes in your mind. Are you feeling dreamy? Maybe a bit delirious? Is everything getting out of proportion? Fantasize, augment, blow it up. And we can see these sentiments in the very first look of the collection. First look is a cream quilted lining jacket, and it reminds me personally of a bed sheet. Did I say sheep? A bed sheet. And this ties into the real sleep idea that he presented us in the show notes. Apparently, this is his first ever eyewear being presented as well, and I like it personally. Off the bat, we see military inspired boots that cup at the top. Now, these are so good, and if you see them in motion, they actually flap a lot. I love them. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. Because the way how they tie it, it kind of like flares out at the top too, so it really emphasizes like the cup. I love these personally. I love these in every single color that they presented them in. See how like his references are already so spread thin apart? Like we have a quilted bed sheet looking garment with these like spy type eyeglasses with military boots. Like it's all over the place, but it looks great in my opinion. Great styling. Now looks 4 to 6 feature oversized denim gilets with oversized chunky suede loafers. Actually really big chunky soles. They look like regular loafers at the top, and then the soles are just like supersized. It's a classic J.W. Anderson design of, contorting conventional shapes and materials, right? They can miss me with those gilets though, I can't even lie. Looks 7 to 9 feature huge knit inside out bombers with the return of the military boots in a slightly darker tone. Anderson spoke to Vogue about the bombers. Sometimes it's about movement and sponginess and being tactile. But these definitely are spongy, and they definitely do have a very unique texture, I can imagine. It's very cozy looking, tying into the real sleep theme and following traditional J.W. Anderson design language once again. Now looks 10 and 11 seem like regular sweatshirts until you look down, you see these weird pillow things sewn onto it. Now having objects sewn onto or sewn into regular clothing is no new thing for J.W. Anderson. As in spring 2024 menswear, he showed a gray wool vest with extra bumps at the front filled with wool. So this is nothing new. Again, this is more of perversing regular garments with unconventional things that made them a little bit harder to wear, maybe into different conversations of different types of fashion, just not regular, which is J.W. Anderson again. And more of the same military boots, but just in different colors. Looks 13 and 14 feature patch pocket jackets with flaps on the shoulders and a new bag, a loafer bag actually. It's a loafer turned into a bag, according to the show notes, of course. Personally, when I saw these for the first time, I thought they were giving like some type of old English type of almost old military style of uniform, and Luke Leach from Vogue actually likened it to 18th century clothing, so maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know. It is really interesting how he manipulated the leather for look 14 though. I wonder how he really got that to stay like that. I wonder if it does stay like that or over time it just like, loses that shape. But it looks super good and the green is super good. I love the shorts with it with the boots too. Amazing outfit. I feel that one. Looks 15 to 16. Yeah, these are off. Looks 15 to 16. We have two words. Space Cadet. J.W. Anderson himself mentioned Space Cadets in the show notes and in the Vogue interview, saying he intentionally tried to make the clothes of this collection irrationally and ultimately spaced out. These bomber jackets look a lot more sculptural than conventionally wearable, and I love that. I really like sculptural fashion, like some of the stuff Marnie did with that one caveman runway. Well, not really caveman runway, but I love sculptural fashion personally. That's why I love when things look more like cartoon versions of themselves instead of like a conventional version. And J.W. Anderson does that a lot. Like when he did that pixelated shirt with Loewe, or that one shirt that was like made of copper. Like he's no stranger to this. And you see the loafer bag in like, a bigger size than what we were previously shown. I think this is gonna sell really well. Looks 18 and 20 feature pillow like puffed up shirts that still look like they have the ability to like wrinkle and fold because of the cut that he gives it. Obviously they probably can't actually wrinkle and fold, but he's probably just thinking of from more of a conceptual standpoint. More sculptural fashion being involved here. I like these are cool. It's further pushing the idea of like, dream like distortion for regular shapes and clothes and things like that. Look 20 is interesting because it features like silk tags at the front that really puff up like balloons, which are also mentioned in the show notes. Another J.W. Anderson-ism where regular things are just supersized, in weird random places. It's pretty unique. I like it. Looks 22 and 23 feature a leather coat and a leather tunic respectively. Now the black leather coat has this really interesting J-hook accessory on it that I really like a lot. And those green boots are to die for. I want those boots in green really bad. The green leather v-neck tunic, it's like they shrug the shoulders and the sleeves still end up being, not shrug the shoulders, they like scrunch the sleeves and pull up the sleeves and the sleeves still end up being regular full length. And the green is so good. And something like that can only exist in the J.W. Anderson universe. And that's so good for a designer to be making clothes that only they can make. So good. Now for some of the really eye-catching and probably more commercial pieces of the collection, we have 3 knitted looks that feature classical like British architecture on it, but it's knitted on. So it would be like window, 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 door. And they get paired with leather jeans and different variations like colors of the boots, the military boots that we've been seeing a lot. These jackets look so good. The whole outfits are just styled so well, honestly. I wonder what made him specifically want to pick knit. I think it's just more of the dreamlike thing where he's just trying to take conventional things that probably would have gotten done in regular material and then turning it into something else with another material. It's such an easy answer for most of the stuff that's going on in this collection, but it's just when you drive home something so hard and you execute it so well, it becomes easy to understand, right? And of course, J.W. Anderson does a lot of really British things, like his collaboration with that brand Cornishware in spring summer 2024, which is like a really classic like British kitchenware brand. Like a lot of his designs feel very British, and this is no exception. I personally think these pieces are phenomenal. I would love to own one from a consumer standpoint, but my money would not love that. So as the reader gets instructions during the hypnotherapy session in the show notes, they hear inhabit a British house and knitted. So this is definitely more along the lines of the dream theory type of thinking that J.W. Anderson is pushing for this collection. Just more distortion and wackiness. At look 31, we get another oversized leather patch jacket with a really big green tie this time. A really big tie. Yeah, it's just a really big green tie. That's the bit. That's the joke. I'm not the biggest fan of looks 32 to 34. Not the biggest fan of the sweaters. Not the biggest fan of the styling. But I guess maybe because of like the different materials and different colors that get thrown here and there, it's supposed to be dreamlike. I have to admit, I'm not really rocking with those at all. But J.W. Anderson knows what he knows, so let me not question greatness, right? For looks 36 to 37, we see the silk tags return. And for look 37, the blazer look is especially nice to me, but I would have paired it with some of the chunky loafers instead of the big boots. I don't know why they just stopped showing the loafers like really early on during the show and it just became boots for like 40 looks straight, but oh well, I still like look 37 a lot. Look 39 was a sleeveless gray dress with a big bow on the front and the green boots to match. Again, I wouldn't do the boots with these, I would have done the loafers, but oh well, a good look nonetheless. Look 40 is a sweater that says real sleep. You gotta sell clothes, so do what you gotta do, J.W. Anderson. Now for 41 and 42, I originally thought that big colorful protrusion at the front was kind of like those big those big ball gown dresses where like the ladies have to hold up the front of it to walk. I thought that's what it was supposed to be all about, or maybe some type of framing underneath it to help it stand up. But really, it was just that J.W. Anderson went to the Primavera Sound Festival in Barcelona, and he saw how the people of the streets were getting really innovative and creative with their own personal expression of their style. And he thought how fashion that's going on like on the runway is nothing like what's going on the streets really. And that festival influenced him a lot. So basically, it's supposed to be like a festival tent underneath it. That's why you see the colorful strips of knit coming from over it. It's supposed to be a festival tent. It's office wear at the top, party down below. Crazy. Now look 45 shows a special collaboration between J.W. Anderson and Guinness. Now this is really random, like a lot of the reference points in this collection, but J.W. Anderson actually tells Vogue that he's just a big fan of how Guinness managed to create really radical imagery while being a non-fashion brand to promote their beer over the years. And he's also Northern Irish, so he has a link to Guinness as well. Very simple, nothing too crazy. You gotta sell clothes, slap the Guinness on the sweater, sell the sweater, make millions. Just more of a personal piece. We then see more knitted house pieces like sleeveless knitted dresses this time with military boots again. Not feeling the military boots for these. I think these dresses are cool. I think this is a different version of what we saw earlier, the woman's wear version or whatever, even though his clothes is genderless and gender fluidity and all of that. I still prefer the old ones, of course, but these are cool too. Looks 48 to 51 feature classic cargo and leather moto racer jackets that, they look all regular and fine. It's always nice to see designers like have their own spin or their own take on classic garments that have been made regularly over and over again throughout the history of fashion. When a designer takes like his own spin on something, like those Rick Owens biker jackets from I want to say 2 seasons back at this point. I'm gonna find a picture, but like how he decided to do his biker jackets in his own way. J.W. Anderson did it really well here. It doesn't scream J.W. Anderson, but it's definitely his version. Another leather flap patch jacket at look 52. I don't know why this came back so late. I must have forgot. I don't know, but it's cool. More Guinness sweatshirts at looks 53 and 55. Again, you gotta sell clothes, do what you gotta do, we won't judge you. And the final look was what it was. Yeah, that's the whole show wrapped. My thoughts on this was that it was just a clear prime example of how to execute ideas into clothes. No pretentiousness, no fake deep, no fake storyline. What he told you is what we see. What we see is what we get, and it's good. It's really, really good. Great styling all throughout. I think all the footwear and the bags are going to sell very well once they hit stores, as long as the trends don't drastically shift by the time they get there. But it's a resort collection, so I think some of this stuff is probably already on sale. Not sure, but I think all of this stuff, especially the accessories and footwear, are gonna sell really well. I like how Luke Leach of Vogue said that there was enough ideas to fill up an entire fashion week, because his references were very far and wide, but no matter how far and wide they were, they still felt very much J.W. Anderson, and that's exactly what they were. This is most definitely a J.W. Anderson collection. He's still on top, honestly. He's still pushing things forward, still in his own lane, uncatchable, honestly, and his design just gets better and better, and I love it personally. I really like this collection. It was very fun. Okay, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. This is like my first time trying to review a fashion show for a YouTube video, but I've done TikToks before. Please let me know how you liked it. Any feedback would be appreciated. Like I said before, like and subscribe. Please go check out some of my other videos if you're interested in fashion in general. I'm pretty sure there's something in here for you at this point. Okay, thank you so much for 200 subscribers, and goodbye.